you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. Let me wish you guys happy holidays. Thanksgiving is over with, and we are headed into the Christmas season, which is also one of my favorite times of the year. And I think I talked about that in one of my last podcasts, about Thanksgiving and Christmas, the holidays, and, why it means so much to me. Right now, we are coming up on the end of the year, and I'm sure there's a lot of things going through people's minds in regards to their planning, maybe family trips once the economy comes back open again. Just a lot of things going through your heads. And so today, what I want to do is I want to give you something to think about in regards to stepping up your game and going to the next level of life. And so with that being said, the title of today's show is Buckets and Buckets and Buckets. For me, buckets simply means the opportunity to get ahead, the opportunity to do something new. We are coming into a new year. So I just want to share a little bit about, these buckets and these opportunities and how it can really just take you to the next level. But it's going to hinge on your ability to tap into your creativity. And I think the only reason why I'm sitting here talking to you guys today is because of my creative ability. If I did not have the ability to create or to take ideas from the mind to putting them down on paper and then putting them into action, I would not be here. And so I want to start off by telling you guys a simple story from the Bible. I like to take a lot of my stories from there because they do have a lot of meaning, and you can translate, that information into action for today. So it's a story out of 2 Kings chapter 4, and starting off, it says, "Now the wife of the son of the prophets cried to Elijah, 'Your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that your servant feared the Lord, but the creditor has come to take my sons to be his slaves.'" Now this lady was going into a very bad situation. And so Elijah said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me what you have of value in the house." And I'm going to stop right there and talk a little bit about, when I was in a horrible situation and I felt like I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything of value. I had nothing that I could use to help me get to the next level. And the two things that came to me was, first of all, you have some time on your hands. What are you doing with your time? Where are you, investing your time? And the second thing is, you have a creative mind. So sit down, take time, sit down, and begin to just jot out ideas, just jot out simple things. And no matter how simple they may be, it's going to lead to something. And so she said, "Your handmaid has nothing in the house except a jar of oil." And that's very interesting. I won't get into that. And then he said, "Go around and borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels and not a few." So she's probably going to look a little foolish going around trying to get all these, these jars. People are probably going to ask, "What are you going to do with them?" And, when you're venturing out and you're starting new opportunities, you're probably not going to get a lot of people on your side. You're probably going to get a lot of people telling you that, "You know what, I don't think that's going to work," especially with the economy the way it is. Now is the time to be creative. So go around, borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels and not a few. And when you come in, shut the door upon you and your sons. And when I read that, and what this means to me is, when you have an opportunity before you, when you have something in your mind, do not share that with people. I'm going to tell you, it is very important not to share your ideas, but to keep them to yourselves. Then pour out the oil you have into all those vessels, setting aside each one when it is full. Now, this is very important to me because what it's saying to me is the level of intensity, or how hard she went after getting all those vessels, is going to determine the outcome in her future. So she went from him, shut the door upon herself and her sons, who brought to her the vessels as she poured the oil. When the vessels were all full, she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." She didn't just say it, she shouted to him, "Bring me another vessel." I mean, she was just so excited about this opportunity and this miracle that was happening before her. She couldn't believe that she didn't get more. And he said to her, "There is not a one left." Then the oil stopped multiplying. Then she came and told the man of God, he said, "Go sell the oil and pay your debt, and you and your sons live on the rest." To me, this is one of the most amazing stories I've read. And it's about a tragic situation that was turned around. And there's some people out there that have gone through some tragic things that they have turned them around. But what I want to get into is how you get from where you are to the next level. And step number one is sit down and take account of everything you have in or at your disposal. Look at the time you have on your hands, look at your assets, take stock of your investment accounts, your life insurance policies. Just sit down and take a look at every single thing you have, because you may be just overlooking something that can help you get from where you are today to, where you want to be. Okay. So, number one, take stock of everything you have. Number two, I want you to look at what you have and then think of ways to be more creative with what you have. And for some people, this is very hard because they have a job where, they're working every single day. They have kids they have to feed, and time just kind of it gets away from them. But if you can maybe turn the TV off a little bit, or say no to the lunch meeting or whatever it might be, or whatever is nagging at you that's trying to eat up your time. And time is a resource. I want you to understand that time is a resource. And some people say time is money, but when you don't have money, you have time, and you can take time and turn it into money. So shut down the time vampires, things that take your time away from you, and just begin to look at ways to be more creative with what you might have. You might say, "Hey, look, I got $200,000-300,000 in my IRA. That's pretty good, and it's doing okay." Well, how do we get from being okay to taking that to the next level of being great? You might be getting 10%. You might be getting 15%. What if you could get 30%? What are some of the things that you can do to drive performance in your assets without taking on unnecessary risk? Okay. So, number one, take stock of everything you have. Number two, sit down and figure out how you can be creative with what it is that you have. And then number three, if you can't figure it out on your own, find someone to help you, someone that you trust, and maybe share your ideas with that person that you trust. I know I said earlier, don't tell anyone, but here's the thing, don't tell everyone. You have to have a trusted advisor, somebody you can sit down with and run the numbers and ask the questions. "Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing with this. What do you think about that? Is there anything I'm missing here? Is there anything I'm overlooking here?" When I hire somebody, I ask a lot of questions, and my meetings with my advisors and the people that I work with, they do take some time because I'm a very inquisitive person, and there's a lot of things that I want to know. And sometimes they may think I'm just questioning their ability, but it's not. I want to know because you know what? Not everybody is creative. Some people just do their jobs because they do their jobs and that's all they know. Well, what if I learn something from you as my advisor that sparks something in me, that sparks another question, and that sparks another thing in you? And then next thing you know, we have something beautiful in front of us because we went through this process of seeking out the best and not just settling for what is in front of us today. And for me and my clients, I talk about the Rapid Retire program that I sat down and I drew up on a napkin when I was in a hotel in Boston. We went there for New Year's, and we wanted to see the fireworks in Boston, but it was so cold they canceled the fireworks. And I think it was the next day I was just kind of bummed out, and I went downstairs and woke up early, and I got a cup of coffee and I just sat down in the lobby. It was nobody sitting in the lobby, so I sat down in the lobby and took out a piece of paper and I started to write down some things. And I was like, well, what do I call it? And the answer came to me. It's called Rapid Retire. Retire 7 to 10 years sooner than you think you could. Looking at how to position the assets, right? The three phases of Rapid Retire, right? and just coming up with all these things and putting all these ideas together and then coming back and then implementing it with more and more of my clients. And it has become a very phenomenal thing. So I'm just going to repeat the steps again. Number one, sit down and take stock of what you have in the house. You might have a small jar of oil. You might have 10 jars of oil. Who knows what you have, but look at what you have. Number two, sit down and figure out ways to be creative with what you have. And then step number three, if you can't figure it out on your own, find somebody to help you. And I'm going to let you guys know, I don't know if you're currently a client and we're already on board. I want to thank you for trusting me to take care of you and your family, to help you grow your wealth without taking on too much unnecessary risk, and to get you from where you are today to where you really want to be. And if you're not yet a client, I want you to really consider giving me a buzz, 808-521-4401. And then Kayla, my assistant, can get you on the schedule so we can talk about the things that you have in your house and how we can take you from where you are today to a better place. Now, some people may say, Harold, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to have a lot of money. I'm okay. And I had that conversation with my daughter the other day. We were talking about investing, and she has, a sizable amount of money built up from working. Since she's not in classes, she's taking online classes or whatnot, and she's able to work a full-time job and she's getting paid a decent amount of money. And I said, so honey, you should at least look at investing some of that money into different things, maybe some treasury ETFs, maybe some long-term corporate bonds, something that'll give you a little bit more interest than sitting in the bank. And she said, I don't want the extra money. I don't need the extra money. I said, no, you don't need it right now, but what if it could provide you with an opportunity coming up in the future that you could take advantage of? Or you're just going to say no and throw away the opportunity and just say, well, I guess it's just going to be helped. And I said, if you take that mentality, guess what? That's an inherently selfish mentality because you only have enough for you. What about for others? What about when opportunities come your way to do more in life, to have more in life? Because it's not just necessarily all going to be for you. It's going to be for some of the people that may come across your path. And so, it's okay not to be wanting to be a multimillionaire. That's okay. But at least do a little bit more than what you are currently doing today. So if you're out there and that's you, or you have a lot and you just want to figure out how to get that moving in a more effective and efficient direction, let me know and I can take a look at that for you too. So 808-521-4401. Give me a holler and we'll see if we can get you guys on the books, okay? So again, I want to wish you guys a very happy holidays, a Merry Christmas. Christmas is coming up, a Happy New Year. I'm going to be recording some more shows to help get you guys in position for the new year in regards to the different planning. We're going to be talking about, in some upcoming shows, life insurance versus investments, why you may need both. And then we're also going to get into the 3 pillars of a successful retirement plan for those of you that are looking to retire in the next 3 or 4 years or so. So again, thanks for tuning in. I was glad to be able to share this story with you guys today. Buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets. Never count out or discount what you have, because there is a way to make the most of what you have. So thanks again. And until next time, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.